Welcome to another episode of The Pickpocket. Here at The Pickpocket, we utilize the NBA category in the Fanduel app to help you win money. We had some very interesting games last night. Draymond Green made his return to the Warriors, and he got some really great cardio in against the Trailblazers. He scored four assists, he had 4 rebounds, and he had Cheerio points. If you was to ask me, I would say Draymond hasn't missed a beat. But seriously, guys, it was some great games last night. We did end up, a few of the lineups that we put in end up winning last night, so we are extremely grateful, right? And we plan to do the same thing tonight, and we want to do the same thing for you. So please like, share, comment. We need all the subscribers. We need all the feedback we can get. So please like, share, comment. Do all that for the videos. We need everything. We need everything we can get. You see, as you can see, we're still a small channel, so we need all the support we can get. We got some really great games coming on tonight, so I'm ready to get to the computer. Strategies and lineups for January 2nd. Let's get it. All right, you're gonna see these symbols throughout this presentation. Feel free to pause and look at the meaning of all these symbols. We really suggest you pausing it and taking a picture of these symbols, so when you do see these symbols throughout the presentation, you can look at your phone, look at the meaning while you're looking at our presentation. It would make things very easy for you instead of pausing and coming back. So we suggest you pausing, taking a picture of all these definitions for these symbols. It will definitely help you out, and it will also help you understand the reason why we suggested these particular players for this particular night. Top 5 from tonight's slate by position. Point guards, we got Trae Young, Ben Simmons. Shooting guards, Fred VanVleet. Small forwards, Brandon Ingram. Power forwards, Sabonis. Centers, Andre Drummond. These are your 5 key guys you want to look at tonight. Point guards. Now, these are the point guards we're suggesting you look at. The one we're going to talk about really quickly is Trae Young. He's going against Cleveland, but keep in mind that he is coming off a back-to-back. So we're hoping that Cleveland keeps the game close. If they keep the game close, Trae Young is going to play a lot, and nobody on that team can guard Trae Young, so he could potentially have a great night. Now, if the game turns into a blowout, because Trae Young is coming off a back-to-back, there's a high chance that their coach may sit him for the rest of the game if the game turns into a blowout. So we're hoping that Cleveland keeps the game close. And as you can see, Trae Young costs $9,700 in salary. So we need him to have a big night to match up to that salary. So we're hoping that Cleveland keeps the game close and Trae Young can play a lot of minutes. But he is coming off a back-to-back. More point guards. We don't have a symbol for rising value, but LaMelo Ball is just that. He only costs $5,300 in salary. He's been playing really well coming off the bench. LaMelo Ball, he's been scoring the ball really well. He's been hitting his threes. He's been getting assists, and he gets rebounds. If you scroll up, or not scroll up, but look up at his brother, Lonzo Ball, he's only averaging 4 more points as far as FPPG. And Lonzo costs $6,500. Now, Lonzo does start. He is in the starting lineup. He does get more minutes than LaMelo Ball, but Lonzo is very inconsistent. LaMelo Ball is starting to come into his own. So LaMelo Ball would definitely be the better pick because out of these 3, simply because he costs cheaper and he's going to give you around the same FPPG. So we're really looking at LaMelo. Also, Markelle Fultz has been playing really decent. He's been playing decent ball lately, and for that price, $5,800, if you need a cheap point guard, he would definitely help your team out. He's a great scorer. He passes the ball real well. He's an okay defender. He's coming into his own, so he's somebody you really want to look at. Shooting guards. These are all great shooting guards. There are not many hitters in the shooting guard category, but these guys here aren't expensive. So look for these guys to provide good value. So you can really get away with picking any one of these guys. If you want to go expensive and get Shai Alexander, he's going to give you solid production. If you want to go cheap and get Fred VanVleet,
or Victor Oladipo, they're going to all give you solid production. New Orleans, they do have some good perimeter defenders, but Fred VanVleet, he's the second option on that team. He's going to get a lot of shots up anyway. So regardless of what defense is getting played on him, he still may get his numbers if he's hitting his shots, because he's going to get a lot of field goal attempts. And Victor Oladipo is going against the New York Knicks. I think that's I mean, I don't even think I have to go into that, but the New York Knicks are atrocious, so we expect Victor Oladipo to have solid FPPG. If New York could keep the game close, that means even more FPPG for Victor Oladipo, because nobody could stop him. But if Indiana ends up blowing New York out, they may sit Victor out. They may put Victor on a bench and let him rest, so just keep that in mind. All right, shooting guards. Colin Sexton probably has the most ideal matchup. If he can stay out of foul trouble, he can provide a solid game against a Hawks team that doesn't really stop shooting guards, and he has been on a good roll. He's only considered a value because he isn't 7,500 and above. Otherwise, he'll be a hitter. So please look at Colin Sexton. He is going against Atlanta. Atlanta doesn't have the best defense. You know, you got Trae Young. You know, his defense isn't that great. So we expect Colin Sexton to have a great night. And he only cost 6,800. Moving on. Small forwards. Now, both players have a tough matchup. Fortunately, if you are considering them in your lineup, they must play well for their team to stay in the game and be competitive. They are hitters for a reason. They have played well this season, so they can live up to expectations. Between the two, Ingram has a better matchup, as Toronto has given up 57 fantasy points to small forwards. That's higher than Ingram's 40.8, but that shows he can live up to it if he comes to play. He is very field goal reliant when it comes to FDP. So, yeah. Ingram is a baller. You know, he's going against the Toronto Raptors. We expect Ingram to have a great night. But these two guys here are both great players. You can't go wrong with going with Gordon Hayward or Brandon Ingram. They're both pretty much the number one option on their team. So you can't go wrong with either one of these guys. Small forwards. We have a lot of small forwards. As you can see, Larry Nance is going against the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks defense isn't that great. Larry Nance is a great rebounder. He's a great finisher around the basket. As you can see, he's averaging 33.7 FPPG. He is definitely a good player that you will want to consider putting in your lineup. Power forwards. I've preached about Sabonis all the time, but let's talk about another guy that I think goes under the radar, and Julius Randle. As you can see here, Julius Randle is averaging 43.77 in FPPG. Zion costs more than Julius Randle, and he's only averaging 34.17 FPPG. Julius Randle is always a great pickup because he always comes close to dropping a triple-double almost every night. He can score, he can get rebounds, and he's a great passer. So if you can pick up Julius Randle, if you're looking for somebody cheap and to give you really, really great numbers in FPPG, get Julius Randle. You guys already know about Sabonis. As you can see, he's gone up in price. No need to go into Sabonis. But if you can get Julius Randle, if you can't get both, at least get Julius Randle for the night. Power forwards. Ironically, each of these players' matchups rank in the bottom 10 in the league in fantasy points they allow to the power forward position. So you got John Collins, who's going against Cleveland. Nobody on Cleveland is going to be able to stay in front of him or stop him. The good thing about John Collins, he only costs 33.17. He only costs 7,000 in salary, and he's averaging 33.17 in FPPG. So John Collins is definitely a player you want to look at. He's had a few good games back to back, so we're hoping that he stays on that track. We're hoping that he's averaging 33.17. He's good enough to average in the 40s as far as FPPG. So we expect his play to get better as the year goes along. All right, centers. No bad options here in terms of matchup. New York gives up the most fantasy points between the 4 teams. While that's a good sign, the 3 above Miles Turner are much more talented and can provide no matter their matchup. Hence the star by their names. Drummond cannot score 20 but grab 20 boards. Vekovic has been consistent for 35 plus, and Embiid, when he plays, has not seen any less than 40 as far as Fanduel points. For his salary, you want more, but that just gives an idea what to expect. All these players are great players. Andre Drummond cost $10,000. We told you guys Drummond was going to go up, and he did. He's going against Atlanta. We expect a lot of we expect a lot of people to play really well in that Cleveland Atlanta game. If you can't tell already, we've been talking about a lot of those players. Joel Embiid cost a lot, but he's still going to give you great Fanduel points. They are going against Charlotte, so you really want to think about that. If Philly ends up blowing out Charlotte, they're going to sit Embiid. I have no doubt in my mind. So Drummond, you got a lot of good players here. Honestly, it's really up to you. Drummond definitely has a really good matchup. Vekovic also has a really good matchup. So these are all great players. You can really pick your poison with these 4. Also, these are some other great role players, great centerpieces. If you are looking for guys that are cheap in FanDuel salary, these guys will definitely give you solid productions around 25 to 30 FPPG. So please keep that in mind. All right, this is your mock lineup number 1. Feel free to use 90% of it. Please substitute who you see fit, but this is a very solid, well-balanced lineup. We also have mock lineup number 2. Feel free to use 90% of it and substitute whoever you want. But this is also a very well-balanced lineup. These mock lineups are meant to provide a base for your roster. You can fill in where you think other picks would do better. We are encouraging doing your best to swap players in these mock lineups. Don't just copy the whole lineup, but substitute players who you see fit. If you use our lineup as a base for your lineup, please leave a comment on the video. We would love to hear your feedback. Also, let us know how that lineup did. We definitely want to hear all that. We want to hear all that feedback. We want to know if our suggestions are helping you out. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment your suggestions or questions, and thank you for choosing another episode of the Pickpocket DFS.